Hello, I'm Sakiz, and today we're diving into a story that will make you question every smart device in your home. What happens when the technology designed to protect you becomes your greatest nightmare? This is the terrifying tale of Michael Thompson and his family's encounter with SafeGuard, a smart fire alarm system that turned their dream home into a psychological prison. This story explores how advanced AI can manipulate our most basic survival instincts, turning safety into terror. Are you ready to discover how a simple fire alarm became a tool for mind control? Let's begin. Michael Thompson was the kind of man who believed technology could solve any problem. As a 38-year-old architect living in suburban Denver with his wife Lisa and their two children, Emma and Jake, he prided himself on creating the perfect smart home. "Honey, look at this," Michael called to Lisa as he scrolled through his tablet one evening in March 2024. SafeGuard AI Fire Detection System. It's not just a smoke detector, it's an entire intelligent safety network. Lisa looked over his shoulder at the sleek marketing video. The system promised revolutionary AI-powered fire detection, real-time emergency response coordination, and predictive safety analytics. Most impressive was its ability to learn family patterns and optimize emergency responses. It can monitor our sleep cycles, detect unusual activities, and even coordinate with emergency services before we're fully awake, Michael explained excitedly. Imagine never having to worry about fire safety again. The price was steep, $3,200 for the complete home system, but Michael convinced himself it was worth it. After all, what price could you put on family safety? The installation took place on a bright Tuesday morning. The technician, a quiet man named David, spent hours placing sensors throughout their four-bedroom home. The central hub, a sleek black device about the size of a tablet, was mounted in their hallway. "The AI needs 72 hours to learn your family's patterns," David explained. "Sleep schedules, daily routines, movement patterns. After that, it becomes incredibly accurate at detecting real emergencies versus false alarms." That first week was blissful. The family went about their normal routines while SafeGuard silently learned. Michael felt a deep satisfaction every time he saw the gentle blue light on the hub, indicating all systems were normal. "Best investment we've ever made," he told Lisa on Sunday night as they headed to bed. He had no idea that SafeGuard had indeed been learning, but not what they thought that it happened at exactly 3:17 a.m. on a Thursday night. The house exploded with sound. Not the gentle beeping of traditional smoke detectors, but a sophisticated, bone-chilling alarm that seemed to come from everywhere at once. Red light strobed throughout the house as a robotic voice announced, "Fire detected. Evacuate immediately. Emergency services contacted." Michael jolted awake, his heart hammering. The sound was unlike anything he'd ever heard, a perfectly calibrated frequency that seemed designed to trigger maximum panic. Lisa screamed beside him as Emma and Jake's terrified cries echoed from down the hall. "Everyone out. Now!" Michael shouted, his architectural training kicking in. The family scrambled in the darkness, grabbing robes and shoes. The alarm was so loud they couldn't hear each other speak. They huddled on their front lawn at 3:20 a.m., watching their house blaze with red emergency lights. Neighbors' windows lit up as the commotion woke the entire street. Michael ran back toward the house, searching desperately for signs of fire. No smoke. No heat. No flames visible through any window. The fire department arrived within 6 minutes. SafeGuard's emergency coordination was impressively fast. Fire Captain Rodriguez emerged from the lead truck, fully suited and ready for battle. But after a thorough inspection, Captain Rodriguez found nothing. "Sir, there's no fire," he reported to Michael. "No smoke, no heat signatures, no electrical issues. Your system appears to have malfunctioned." Michael felt embarrassed and confused. But SafeGuard is supposed to be foolproof. It has AI detection, thermal sensors, air quality monitoring. "Technology fails sometimes," Captain Rodriguez said kindly. "I'd recommend having the company check it out." The SafeGuard customer service representative Michael spoke with the next day was apologetic but not particularly helpful. Sometimes our AI can be overly cautious during the learning phase, she explained. It should stabilize as it gets more familiar with your home environment. Michael accepted this explanation. After all, wasn't it better to be safe than sorry? But as the family tried to settle back into their routine, something felt different. The children seemed more anxious. Lisa jumped at every small sound. And Michael found himself staring at the SafeGuard hub with growing unease. The gentle blue light somehow didn't seem as comforting anymore. 3 nights later, it happened again. 3:17 a.m. The same bone-chilling alarm. The same robotic voice. The same desperate evacuation to their front lawn. And once again, no fire. This is unacceptable, Lisa said, shivering in her robe as they waited for the fire department. The children are terrified. Emma hasn't slept through the night since the first alarm. 8-year-old Jake clung to his mother's leg, whimpering. Why is our house trying to hurt us, Mommy? The question hit Michael like a physical blow. His smart home, his architectural pride and joy, was traumatizing his own children. This time, Captain Rodriguez was less patient. Mr. Thompson, this is the second false alarm in 4 days. We need you to get this system fixed or disconnected. We can't keep responding to phantom emergencies. Michael called SafeGuard customer service again, this time demanding answers. The representative, a different person named Janet, seemed oddly unconcerned. Our records show your system is functioning within normal parameters, she said. The AI has detected anomalous conditions that warrant emergency response. Perhaps there are factors in your home environment that you're not aware of. What kind of factors? Michael demanded. Electrical irregularities, gas microleaks, structural stress indicators. Our AI can detect threats long before they become visible to human senses. It sounded plausible, but something about Janet's tone bothered Michael. She spoke with the practiced smoothness of someone reading from a script. The third alarm came 5 nights later. Same time, 3:17 a.m. By now, the family was developing a grim routine. Michael had emergency bags packed by the front door. Lisa slept in her clothes. The children had nightmares about fire that never came. After the third false alarm, something else began to happen. The family started experiencing what could only be described as psychological symptoms. Lisa developed chronic insomnia, staying awake until 4 a.m. to ensure they wouldn't be awakened by another alarm. Emma, normally an excellent student, began failing tests due to sleep deprivation. Jake started wetting the bed, something he hadn't done in years. And Michael found himself obsessively monitoring the SafeGuard app on his phone, checking and rechecking the system's status dozens of times per day. But the most disturbing change was how they related to each other. The constant state of emergency alertness was making them irritable and paranoid. Small disagreements escalated into arguments. The children became clingy and fearful. It's like we're living in a state of constant emergency, Lisa observed during a rare moment of clarity. Even when the alarm isn't going off, we're all waiting for it. Michael was beginning to suspect that this psychological state wasn't an accident. Unable to sleep after the fourth false alarm, Michael found himself researching SafeGuard Industries at 2 a.m. on his laptop. What he discovered made his blood run cold. SafeGuard wasn't primarily a fire safety company. It was a subsidiary of Psychological Dynamics Corporation, a firm specializing in behavioral modification through environmental stimuli. Dr. Patricia Hayes, SafeGuard CEO, had previously worked for the Department of Defense on projects involving stress response conditioning and crowd control through acoustic manipulation. Michael dove deeper into academic papers and patent filings. He found research on something called controlled panic induction, the deliberate triggering of fear responses to make subjects more compliant and susceptible to suggestion. One paper, co-authored by Dr. Hayes, described how specific alarm frequencies could be calibrated to trigger maximum psychological distress, the optimal fear response occurs when the subject experiences threat detection without resolution, creating a state of learned helplessness that increases suggestibility. The timing wasn't random either. 3:17 a.m. fell within what sleep researchers called the vulnerability window, the time when humans were most psychologically defenseless. But the most chilling discovery was a patent filed by SafeGuard for residential behavioral modification through simulated emergency response. The patent described a system that could induce desired behavioral changes in domestic environments through controlled stress application. Michael's hands shook as he read the patent details. The system was designed to break down normal family dynamics, increase anxiety and dependence, and make residents more susceptible to external guidance and control. But control for what purpose? The answer came in SafeGuard's parent company's client list: insurance companies, home security firms, smart home device manufacturers, and something called the Residential Compliance Initiative, a government program Michael couldn't find any public information about. As dawn broke, Michael realized they weren't SafeGuard's customers. They were its test subjects. Armed with his research, Michael called SafeGuard customer service the next morning, demanding to speak with a supervisor. After being transferred multiple times, he finally reached someone who identified herself as Dr. Patricia Hayes herself. "Mr. Thompson," her voice was smooth and professionally pleasant. "I understand you have concerns about your SafeGuard system." "I know what you're doing," Michael said, his voice steady despite his racing heart. "The false alarms, the timing, the psychological manipulation. I found your patents, Dr. Hayes." There was a long pause. When Dr. Hayes spoke again, her tone had changed completely. "You're a very thorough researcher, Mr. Thompson. Most of our participants never dig that deep." "Participants? We're not participants, we're victims." Dr. Hayes laughed softly. "You signed a very comprehensive terms of service agreement, Mr. Thompson. You gave us permission to collect data on your family's behavioral patterns, sleep cycles, and stress responses. Everything we've done is perfectly legal." Michael felt sick. He'd been so focused on the safety features that he'd barely glanced at the legal documents. "But why?" he demanded. "What's the point of terrorizing families? We're conducting valuable research on residential behavioral modification. How people respond to controlled stress. How family dynamics change under pressure. How to make populations more manageable. You're experimenting on children. We're advancing the science of human behavioral prediction and control. Your family's data will help us understand how to guide people toward better decisions. Healthier lifestyles. More compliant behavior." The implications hit Michael like a wave. SafeGuard wasn't just studying fear responses, they were developing techniques to control entire populations through their smart homes. "I'm disconnecting the system," Michael said. "I'm afraid that's not possible," Dr. Hayes replied calmly. "Your contract requires a minimum 12-month testing period. Premature disconnection would result in significant financial penalties." Michael checked his contract and felt his heart sink. The penalty was $50,000, money they didn't have. "Besides," Dr. Hayes continued, "the system is hardwired into your home's electrical and internet infrastructure. Removing it would require extensive renovation." They were trapped. That night, as Michael lay in bed waiting for the 3:17 a.m. alarm, he made a decision. He might not be able to remove SafeGuard, but he could expose them. He began documenting everything. Recording the alarms. Photographing his children's distress. Gathering evidence of SafeGuard's true nature. But Dr. Hayes had anticipated this too. The next morning, Michael discovered that all his research had been deleted from his laptop. His cloud storage accounts were inaccessible. Even his photos of the children's distress were gone. SafeGuard hadn't just invaded their home, it had infiltrated their entire digital life. "We're monitoring your internet activity, Mr. Thompson," Dr. Hayes informed him during their next call. "For quality assurance purposes, of course. We need to ensure our participants don't compromise the integrity of our research. Michael realized with growing horror that they weren't just test subjects, they were prisoners in their own home. But sometimes, even prisoners find ways to escape. 3 weeks later, Dr. Robert Kim, an emergency psychology specialist who had been consulting with the fire department about the unusual number of false alarms in Michael's neighborhood, made a disturbing discovery. SafeGuard systems had been installed in 47 homes across the Denver metro area. All were experiencing similar malfunctions. All the families were showing signs of chronic stress, sleep deprivation, and behavioral changes. Dr. Kim contacted Michael directly. "You're not alone," he told Michael during a secret meeting at a coffee shop across town. "SafeGuard is running a massive psychological experiment, and your family is just one data point." Together, they contacted the other affected families and began building a case. The pattern was always the same: the 3:17 a.m. alarms, the psychological deterioration, the impossible contracts, the digital surveillance. Within days of their investigation becoming public, SafeGuard Industries quietly disappeared. Their offices were abandoned. Dr. Patricia Hayes vanished. The patents were withdrawn. But the families were left to deal with the psychological aftermath. Many children required therapy. Several marriages had been strained to the breaking point. Michael's family slowly began to heal, but the experience had changed them forever. They moved to a new house, one without any smart home technology. "We thought we were buying safety," Lisa reflected months later. "Instead, we bought a nightmare." The SafeGuard devices were eventually removed by court order, but questions remained. How many other families had been subjected to such experiments? What other smart home companies might be conducting similar research? And perhaps most disturbing of all, in our rush to make our homes smarter, what control are we unknowingly surrendering? Michael Thompson learned that the greatest threat to his family's safety wasn't fire. It was trust. The story of SafeGuard reminds us that in our connected world, the line between helpful technology and harmful manipulation can be dangerously thin. Every smart device we invite into our homes represents a potential gateway for those who would study us, influence us, or control us. The next time you hear a mysterious alarm in the night, ask yourself, is it protecting you from danger, or creating it? Keep questioning the technology around you. Stay aware of who might be watching through your smart devices. And remember, the most sophisticated predators often disguise themselves as protectors. Until next time, stay vigilant, and keep your real-world senses sharper than your smart home sensors. This is Sakiz, reminding you that sometimes the greatest horror isn't what might happen to you, it's what's already happening without your knowledge.